It's Nate and Eric. We're talking to musicians and music adjacent people about the worst shit show they've ever been a part of. These are the stories that you don't get to hear. This is what we call shit show.
What is going on, everybody? We hope you are doing well and you are enjoying your December. Eric is here with me right now as we speak.
What up?
I want to say that we're going to do this podcast this week and then one more next week. And then for the holidays, we're going to take off the rest of the year and we will see you guys next year.
But if you are in Colorado, make sure to come celebrate New Year's Eve with us in Greeley at the Moxie Theater. We're playing a New Year's Eve show, a very special one, in fact. So if you're free New Year's Eve, come celebrate with us. It's going to be a blast.
It sure is going to be a blast. We haven't played in a long time, and I'm kind of stoked to be out in reality to go and get weird.
Yes, sir. And we've been off tour for a while, and we've upgraded some of the gear that we're using, so we're going to be sounding sick and looking not so sick, but we're going to be sounding sick, and it's going to be fun.
Yep, it's going to be great. So make sure to get your tickets. We'll make sure to add the link here in the podcast. Also, if you haven't yet, you should follow us. That's just the thing you should do.
And subscribe.
Yeah.
As well.
We're on Apple. We're on the Spotify. And recently the Spotify has put out the numbers, and the hate is heavy.
Yes. Perfect.
Have you seen what the percentages, what you get for royalties for
No.
from Spotify streams?
I don't even want to know.
It's like 0.0003 cents or something.
It's insane.
Yeah, people are upset.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, it's bullshit, how Spotify treats artists, and there's been a lot of conversations around that going on lately about how the artists don't get their fair share, and we totally agree with that. And that being said, please listen to us on Spotify a lot. Stream our shit on Spotify. We need those numbers, so do that shit.
I didn't know where you were going to go. If you were going to say yeah, so book this shit or whatever, but you just kind of
Yeah, a lot of people are like, don't support Spotify. Go somewhere else to stream them. Nope, stream it. It's important.
Right.
Our Spotify numbers are important to music business people and tours and all that stuff. So stream our shit on Spotify. It's evil, but it's a necessary evil, so do it.
It is kind of a necessary. I mean, there are some people out there that are purists. What do you believe about that? I know that there's some people that do everything they can to not have Spotify touch their stuff. And, who was the big artist that pulled all their stuff?
Taylor Swift did for a while.
Okay.
She's back on it. Prince notoriously never had his stuff on streaming, and then his estate did him dirty after he died and threw it all up.
Oh,
I guess they were like, give me that money.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's noble, as an artist, to do that kind of thing. I think that's I commend people for doing that, but
I mean, reality, a band our size, what are you going to do with that $35?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it would make sense if you were, say, Taylor Swift, and you're going to make your nut no matter what,
Right.
People are going to buy your stuff. They're going to listen to your stuff no matter what. But for a smaller band or a smaller artist, there's tons and tons of people out there that only listen to stuff via Spotify. And if you're not on it, they ain't listening to you straight up. So it's kind of it's like that push and pull. Do you want to be noble, or do you want to have people listen to your stuff?
I feel like it's kind of made this new evil. And tell me what you think about this. But I've been thinking about this a lot by seeing people on TikTok and things like that, where we're older guys. We're in our mid-30s, right? So I feel shitty having to post, coming from an age that I kind of sound like the old get off my lawn kind of guy. I've always been that kind of in my mind, but I don't want to post all the time. I don't want you to see all the shit I'm doing, because that's my life, and I have that line or that veil between my reality and what I allow you to see or whatever. And
for sure,
I feel like more than ever, I've heard of bands getting signed recently, and it's all because of things like TikTok numbers and stuff. It's they've never played a show.
Right.
They can't sing, or they can't do whatever, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
It really doesn't matter, and that's kind of
sad
to me.
It's very Well, it's interesting because from a label's perspective, they're like, how are we going to make our money back? Like, we're not taking any money from the band's live show, so who gives a fuck if they're good live or not? You know, maybe we can just, and the TikTok numbers.
But what does that
I don't
number
know.
mean? It's just like
I don't know. Yeah,
it's just some void, right? So
that's the thing. Do your TikTok numbers mean? Will they translate to album sales? I mean, some cases yes, some
well,
cases
I know
no.
I mean, it could translate to streams.
Yeah,
But that's kind of like this Bitcoin world where it's
Yeah.
like this kind of
streams ain't that much, man. 1 million streams is $1,000 or something like that. A couple $1,000.
right.
That's not.
But here's the label's point of view, right? Where they come in, it's like, yeah, I don't have to think about anything. It's you're already curated the audience, right?
Yeah.
And you're just already have X amount of followers. Which do you guys do yourself a favor and just go look at some of these TikTok people and look at they are posting. They have no life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to go out and have a nice dinner and not look at your fucking phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Totally. A lot of these influencers, like, I know
it's addiction, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know some of these like resorts and stuff will pay for them to go. These influencers to go to the resort, and but then you're there at the resort having to document your whole time there. How are you going to
enjoying your time?
Exactly. Like, you're there just taking video instead of actually having fun. Yeah,
I think the reason I got
wild.
on this is I've had a little bit of downtime to myself and not being like run hustle, and I'm like, oh shit, this is like sad.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it was so bad, but I mean, once again, old man on the lawn.
Yeah, I imagine
kids are different.
I imagine you could like say take a day or two and like just bank a bunch of TikToks and just like, so I have 10 ready to go, and just like Tuesday I'll post number 2, Wednesday I'll post number 3. Instead of making them every day, you could just like bank them all.
Well, I think that some people do that, but it takes a whole crew.
Right.
And it's just you and me, so I'm like, I'm tired all the time. You're tired all the time. Why, you know, even at 23 when we were doing this, I don't think I had the bandwidth to like.
Yeah, we're artists, man. We're
give a
fucking
shit.
artists.
I don't want to do
I'm not
this.
a fucking social media influencer. I'm a drummer. I'm an artist. I mean, it's fun. A lot of times it's fun to do, but it's like I'm trying to make music, man.
Yeah, like that's anyway. Anyway, thanks guys for letting us rant. This little shit show is with Nick Wheeler, guitar player extraordinaire from All American Rejects. Was able to go and hang out with him in Nashville and talk a little bit. This is part 1 of 2.
Hell yeah.
So there's going to be more tasty treats at the end of this maze. So like I said before at the beginning of this, Eric and I are going to kind of bow out. We're going to do this week and next week. And if you haven't noticed, we've been releasing these on Saturday because, once again, bandwidth, I'm stupid and unable to do this because this is hard for me. This is hard for me to create this stuff. But anyway, hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for checking it out. Bye.
Yeah, this is like the token podcast mic now, I feel.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast in particular about that gear and how it wasn't really selling well, and then like podcasting happened, right?
Well, it's always been like a go. Is it okay if I'm back a little bit, or I need to be up on it?
No, yeah, back is fine.
Okay.
I have you pretty hot so that I can.
Okay. Cool. It was a really good vocal mic for a long time, though. But
I mean,
think
everyone's used it, like from Prince to I want to say Michael Jackson, but I don't believe that's actually right.
Huh. I mean, probably it's like the professional studio dynamic microphone that's affordable.
Yeah, it is affordable.
It's like what, $300 or something?
300, 400 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, for those that don't know, we're talking about the Shure. It's a 7B.
SM7B, yeah.
SM7B. We're here with Nick. Wheeler, the one and only guitar player, legend of the band All American Rejects.
I didn't realize we had started yet.
Well, we're kind of that. I like to just, like when I came in kind of hot and just like, let's talk about stuff.
Yeah.
It's better to just kind of keep it natural and organic.
You're
so-
loosening me up.
Yeah,
Get me
man.
all loosey goosey.
I'm at his beautiful studio here in Nashville, and I was making the joke that everywhere in Nashville, you never know that there's some of the coolest gear on the planet is like literally behind that door that looks like just an Airbnb.
Yeah, if that.
Right.
Yeah. Same
So-
with LA though.
Yeah,
Like
LA.
sometimes you're gonna be walking down the street and there's a door that like I don't know, God knows what's behind there. I expect to open it and see like Navy SEALs training or something like in Wayne's World.
Yeah.
But it's actually just a sweet studio.
I
so
always
yeah.
felt like LA, the necessity of it was because of how expensive everything was in particular.
Yeah.
That it had to be like your mom's shed or something. So it was like
Totally.
whatever space was available.
I was just there doing a show in the coffee shop I was going to. Oh, sorry, is my
My clutch on this mic stand is kind of going out. Is that better?
I'm good if you're good, man.
Yeah, that's good.
And the coffee shop I was going to in Burbank was attached to a rehearsal studio, like a rehearsal space where bands would go and rehearse. And I was like, why are these so prevalent in Los Angeles, like rehearsal spaces? And it's like, oh, because I grew up in fucking suburbia. I live in Nashville where there's, houses are more affordable. Everybody in LA lives in an apartment, so you can't really have band practice at home.
No, yeah. You're living in a place with like 14 other people and like 500 cockroaches. So you're just kind of like making, I can't turn up full volume. I don't actually know what we sound
I'll
like.
offend the cockroaches.
That's right.
Yeah.
LA, man. I have a hate with that city.
I lived there for 5 years. I finally did it. I said I never would. 10 years into doing this professionally, I was like, fuck it. I'll just move to LA, thinking everything would be more convenient. It's not. Didn't enjoy living there, but now I still enjoy visiting there. It's like it's like Vegas.
I would say that the visiting for me as a touring person,
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing I enjoy about
It's great. Good food, lots of shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, living there is just a pain in the ass, or it was for me at least.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an outsider, so never lived there, but always visiting. So much good food.
Oh yeah.
So much good culture going on. There's always something to do, and I think that makes people maybe spoiled is the word I want to use.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, hey, I could either go to your shitty show or, now hear me out. Let me pitch this to you. Fred Durst is doing something for free down here at the Levi's store.
That's the most LA shit you could say.
I know,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, $3 bill, y'all. Like something like
$3 Levi's, y'all.
yeah.
But that's kind of what Nashville is becoming too, though. Is
Right.
it's not as culturally diverse, unfortunately, but it is like there's a lot of shitty shows happening. There's a lot of good shows too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a little mini LA, and thank God we have really good food, and there's usually stuff going on.
There's a lot of culture here too. It's like you have a lot of like, I think the industry.
Well, a lot of culture for Tennessee, that is.
Yeah, for Tennessee, like as a state as a whole, yeah, this is the place. This is
Right,
the
right.
Austin of.
I mean, Memphis is great too. I don't know much about it. I've never lived there, but yeah, we're in the sweet spot.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I love your place. Love everything you're doing. Thanks for taking your time,
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Labor Day.
dude. It is Labor Day
Yeah,
for those. That
we're
are listening.
laboring. We're laboring away right here.
Laboring. So, I want to ask what this story is, that you have kind of in the queue.
I got a couple things for you. We'll see what comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you give me a setup? What's the situation? Where are you guys at? Is this All American Rejects? What is this?
I mean, unless you want to hear a story about my various high school ska bands, they will be All American Reject stories. Yes.
I want to hear the ska bands too. Dude, come on. That's the best stuff. It's like when you're like real green and you have zero idea
Yeah.
and you walk into something face first. Those are the funniest.
Oh
like,
man, I haven't even cooked any of those up, but I'm sure there's a ton.
we're in a ska band. I think that's the part I just
Come
missed.
on, it was the late '90s.
Oh my
of course,
God.
it was ska.
Real
I
Big
remember-
Fish was like king.
Oh yeah. I wore my Real Big Fish tape out on my paper route.
Hell yeah, dude, that's the most. You're a paper route listening to ska
on cassette. Because it was just more portable than a CD player.
I think we're done, right? Like, can I just stop this? Like, we're done, right? This is it.
This is like, that's the main event of your whole fucking podcast right there.
I'm gonna show a picture of Nick and just imagine baby Nick riding his bike, coming to your house,
checkered shoes.
check your shoes, doing the whole thing.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
That wasn't what I was cooking up. There's plenty of shit like that, I'm sure. But let's see. Okay, actually, you know what? Of course, the first thing comes to mind because you're still working with John Shaba, right?
Yeah, Shaba.
Oh yeah. He might have even told you this story.
No,
I don't know.
I asked him what stories you were gonna tell me, and then I quickly went, "Don't tell me, don't tell me." You know, like I double guessed myself, and I'm like, just let Nick. He's like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Well, funny enough, he texted me last night. I haven't heard from him in a while. And he was like, "You're talking to Nate tomorrow, right?" I was like, "Yeah."
I picked him up from the airport when he was texting you.
Oh shit, that's great.
Yeah.
I told him, I was kind of fishing because he's involved in this story, in quite a vivid way.
Okay.
And I was kind of like testing it a little bit. I was like, seeing if he would oppose. And I go, I'm going to tell him about the time we ate Mexican food in England. And he just kind of laughed. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
on.
Yeah, it's cool. All right.
Not a great setup. It gets colorful. So me and everybody else in my band is from Oklahoma. We grew up on Tex-Mex. Love it.
Right.
You know,
What part of Oklahoma?
me and our singer Tyson are from Stillwater, which is the other college town.
Right.
Mike and Chris are from outside of Oklahoma City, about an hour south of us. We met just through playing shows and eventually stole them from their respective bands and added them to our lineup. But we all grew up, loving Tex-Mex, the free queso,
Right.
the pickled veggies that you can put on your fajitas. Not real Mexican food, Tex-Mex.
No, that's good though. I mean, it's got its own flavor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because that was like a regular part of our diet, anywhere in the world we went, we would seek out Mexican food. I don't know why. I've had Mexican food in New Zealand. It was terrible. Anyway, in this story,
well, of course it would be.
in this story, we're eating it in England. It's one of those things where, like, if you're lucky enough to have gotten a record deal before the record industry completely collapsed, labels would actually take you out to like nice dinners. Like back in the day, we were like flying home with like leftover steak wrapped up and shoved in our carry-on bags.
Hell yeah.
But this particular night, we were in England, and the label was taking us to dinner. They're like, "Where you want to go? Anywhere you want to go." And we're like,
"You guys said we're in England." Not that we just toured England. Not that England is really known for their food or cuisine, but you were like Mexican food.
Yes, and mind you, the Indian food in England is very good.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Very good.
Indian
and
food
so
is great.
I had conditioned my stomach by eating Indian food like five nights a week in England. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they've probably come a long way with their cuisine over there. But when we were touring over there, it was not great.
No, I mean when you put beans for breakfast and stuff like that. And
I can't hang with the beans and the sliced tomato for breakfast. I can't do it.
I love England.
I do too.
Let me just preface that. Like some of the best shows I've ever played is England.
Totally, 100%.
But the food, I'm gonna say, is less than good.
The last few times I've been over there, it's been better. But I do remember this. We're talking like early 2000s here, so
Okay.
we're like, just take us somewhere edible, Mexican food. It was a great night. We had a blast.
Sure.
There was a bunch. They probably had, I don't know, maybe they had Corona. I don't know what Mexican beer they had in England at the time, but we had a great time. Next day. Oh, and when the label takes you out, you bring whoever you can get away with bringing. So we brought the whole crew.
Right.
John or Shaba or John, as you know him.
Yeah.
He was there. Our monitor guy was there. Our guitar techs were there. Everybody was there. So like we were rolling deep.
Which is awesome.
It was a blast, and we always loved touring with people that we would also enjoy hanging out with.
Right.
So of course, if we can bring them along and somebody else is footing the bill, hell yeah. So. The next 2 nights, we're playing sold-out shows at Shepherd's Bush, which...
Was What's capacity?
It's a decent size. It's at least a couple thousand.
Okay.
It's definitely like the biggest headlining event that we ever did in England.
Okay.
Two sold out nights at Shepherd's Bush, so it's probably like 4,000 or 5,000 people over the course of 2 nights. And we all wake up the next morning so fucking sick.
Oh no.
So sick.
No.
I don't know if it was the sour cream. I don't know what it was.
It was all of it.
I say sick. Like, this is the sickest I've ever been in my life.
Like food poisoning sick?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no. God.
And,
And guess what? You got to play these massive shows.
right, 2 of them. And I don't know what it was. We tried to figure out what ingredient literally everybody ate, because literally everybody was just fucking incapacitated.
Whoa.
Didn't sound
Was
check.
the people from the label all messed up too?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. They might have been sneaky and not eaten anything.
Wow. I almost feel like that's self-sabotage. That's sabotaging.
Right?
What
No
is
shit.
this?
Yeah.
You planned it. I know you planned.
We're talking. It's just fucking throwing up out of both ends.
Oh God.
Like just sitting in a bathtub all day long. You're
Wait, just the water running, just like letting whatever comes out come out, and just wash it down the pushing poop through the drain. Just
Pushing-
kidding. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
pushing the poop down.
That's what my brain went to.
Well,
It's not a healthy space.
your boy John could not make the show. From what I hear, he was shitting the bed all day.
Oh no.
Sorry, Shaba.
Just like calling the house, the front desk, please, more sheets.
No, literally. Our monitor guy ended up having to run front of house for us. This is my one complaint about getting to do this for a living. I can't call in sick.
Oh no.
Like,
There's a lot of people
these
who will be
shows-
very angry.
these shows are happening. I mean, now in the COVID era, things might change a little bit. People might get more understanding with illness and needing to call in sick. But, I mean, we're talking 15, 20 years ago. This show's happening. So I remember having to play half of it just sitting on the drum riser, like no energy.
Oh god.
There were trash cans in both wings,
Oh my god.
and they got used like almost between every single song.
Fill them up.
Yep.
All right.
I
take
feel
it
so
off.
bad for the person who had to clean that venue the next day.
The guy,
Um,
the sound or the stage hand that just keeps filling it up. He's like, whoa, that's good. Whoa, no, keep it. Whoa. Yeah.
And I'm sure it was one of those things where, like, when you see one person throw up, everybody else
Oh,
starts
yeah.
like snowball throwing up. Man, and I remember like I had a cousin who was going to school abroad who happened to be in London, and he came to the show. I was like, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, like I'm fucking deathly ill. This is not going to be the hang I wish it was. But yeah, it was brutal. And then the second night, I think, was not as bad. But it was rough, man.
Man,
Yeah,
there's nothing worse than being sick on tour.
dude.
Like the only thing I once, and I'll never do it again, I ate a truck stop burrito, which was literally the whole sentence I just said is a red flag.
Burritos, they seem safer than, like, say, like a hot dog or sushi
Right.
at a gas station.
Right.
Like, at least it was probably, like, wrapped up.
Yeah, but I guess
Ish.
it's not impervious to disease. So or being
Yeah.
ill. Yeah. So we played Salt Lake City, and I don't remember playing the show. Eric
Oh, yeah, I've been
had
there.
literally had to load up everything, and then I just shit and threw up for a solid 24 hours. So I'm assuming by your second show, you were at least like color back in the face maybe a little bit.
Honestly, I don't remember what happened, what show. I just remember being sick for both of them, throwing up at both of them, sitting on the drum riser for half the show at both of them. Just rough stuff, man.
Literally a shit show.
Legit. And on the subject, I remember another time. This would have been a different trip. This was I think the next album cycle. We were in Paris, and we all went to dinner with the label. And this time it wasn't Mexican food. It was a really nice French restaurant.
Sure.
Back in those days, I did not stay very hydrated, I drank mostly alcohol and coffee.
Yeah.
Which I still do, but I balance it with water now.
That's good.
Back in those days, I wasn't drinking water that much. So at dinner, I was only drinking wine. And again, the next morning, we wake up, everybody is just fucking dead.
Whoa.
Like,
wait, again? Like literally a plague.
yes,
But with the food.
everybody but me. So it had to be the water.
Oh yeah.
I didn't drink a single drop, and I was fine. And we were actually we were playing an acoustic show for some radio station and then flying home. And this was like the end of a long week of just promo and doing press in Paris. And it was like, the second to last night, label takes us out. The next night we play an acoustic show and immediately get on a plane. But it was so bad that middle of the night, our keyboard player got taken to the hospital, like in an ambulance. Like, terrible food poisoning. And
yeah, there's nothing better than like, hey, you know what? We're going to have a great time.
everybody missed their flight. They had to extend their stay. And then I was flying back because we had a song in one of the Transformers movies or some shit. So I had to, we were supposed to go back and do like, go to the premiere and do a bunch of promo and that bullshit. Literally my least favorite part of the job.
Is you have to
But
do it.
I had to go by myself and fucking talk about my fucking band at some stupid movie.
They're like, gun against your head. Nick, get on the plane.
Honestly, I would have rather had food poisoning. But
Do you really say that now?
no,
Yeah, come
but
on.
I will
So
say,
bad.
well, I will say it was nice flying home with like a whole row to myself because nobody made their flight.
Hell yeah.
It was that was weird flying back like totally solo. Like, and I mean, maybe I would have stayed in solidarity, but I was like, I guess I got to go back and do this, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I hope you feel better.
yeah. I'll say good things.
My God. Well, I mean, hey, that is a perk. That is a perk not being sick, but shitty that you had to go and.
Well, I much prefer these like long form, just like hang like discussion podcasts.
And those promo things are like, what's the sound bite? It's like 15 seconds maybe.
I'm fucking terrible at those. I mean, you just heard me tell a story about food poisoning. It took like fucking 20 minutes. Like, you know where this is going.
Right.
But hang on, let me take the scenic route.
That's exactly what it needs to be. I feel like, with the pandemic and everything, I've found that time is important, but it's also like you ain't got nothing else to do. Let's actually enjoy the ride a little bit.
Totally.
So I have a bit of a different respect for this kind of stuff. It's nice to hear the whole story.
I was actually listening to a podcast this morning. And
what are you listening to?
I listened to Armchair Expert. It's like the first podcast I ever listened to, and now I listen to several other ones. But I do like that one because it's long form discussions with people that you've seen and heard on TV, movies, music, whatever. A lot of celebrities. Today, they got fucking Tom Hanks. Of course, I'm listening to that.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about talk shows versus podcasts, and kind of to what I was saying about having to go do this promo. It's like, that's a performance.
Right.
That's not hanging out. That's
No.
That's not even talking. That you're performing.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I play guitar, because that is my crutch. That's my safety blanket. And so if I have to talk to somebody in a short soundbite kind of performative kind of way, it's not going to go well.
Do you ever have any problems? Like, I find myself having like that you just mentioned that safety blanket. I've had to go and sing just a cappella.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm just,
that.
I've never been more nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
was it like the national anthem or something?
no, it was just for a choir. I was like in a choir with other people, but I'm still like, man, my armpits are sweaty. Like, and it's funny. It's like I'll jump around on stage with a guitar, and it's like, oh, I have this thing in between me and everyone else.
Right.
I wonder if you felt the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I was in bands. I was always either playing guitar or playing drums, or just the guy that had all the recording stuff. Yeah, I never wanted to be out front talking or sing. I mean, I can't sing to save my life. So fortunately, I do those other things. Half-assed. I fake my way through it at least. But yeah, I always need something. and same thing in a conversation. Got to have a cup of coffee. Got to have a cocktail. Something.
Right.
Like
yeah.
this.
You gotta
this-
relax a little bit.
Right now, this cup of coffee is my guitar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but this is much more relaxed, and I'm enjoying myself much more in this environment than.
It should be. You know, it's like, especially, I felt like the best interviews I've ever seen are like when comedians are talking to comedians, or
Yeah.
like somebody that like gets the craft, gets the experience.
Yeah, it's like that thing Seinfeld's doing now with the comedians
Yeah,
in cars
comedians
getting
in
coffee.
cars.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it makes more sense because you can ask questions that maybe lay people wouldn't understand.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's not an audience. You're not there to entertain, but if people want to listen and listen to two people nerd out, great. that's their prerogative. But yeah, like I love any podcast where it's a musician talking to a musician or a songwriter talking to a songwriter. Like
Sure.
those are great.
Yeah, this is really insightful, and there's like, I feel like you get your bang for the buck because they know where the other person's coming from and can give you, in a way, just kind of like a backseat ride to their front drive, you know?
Totally. And it's just being a fly on the wall to two people who probably do it better than you do. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, you do it better than a lot of people do. I
Well,
mean, you're awesome.
like I said, I'm faking it till I make it. So,
Yeah. You're doing just fine.
well, thank you.
There you go. So it's like really important to pick the food and the places you go to.
The UK has been one of our favorite places to go, but their food is garbage.
The Indian food is good.
The Indian food is delicious, but man, their food is not good. And we didn't have Mexican food out there, and I think it's a good idea to not get Mexican food while you're in the UK. I think you stick.
Yeah, stick with like Indian food, and then like I didn't hate the proper English breakfast. I didn't
alright.
get the beans.
Yeah, beans are no.
I did like blood pudding though.
Yeah,
Tastes
but
like
yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, and let it be a testament that when you're on tour and you're an artist, sick days sometimes are not a thing. You just gotta fucking push
Gotta push.
forward.
Well, anyway, thanks again, guys. Follow us at Shit Show Pod on Instagram, and wow, I'm selling social media shit after. Wow, what a hypocrite! You know what? Don't follow us. I don't care.
Follow the band because we're artists, and that's what's important.
Yeah, there, do it, Eric.
Facebook.com/InTheWhale, Instagram.com/in_the_whale, Twitter.com/InTheWhale, and TikTok InTheWhale Cult, or just go to InTheWhaleCult.com. You'll find links to all that stuff there.
You guys are great. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye.